Hello and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that went down on Wednesday's show. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Dynamite pay-per-views, premium live events. We have question and answer time. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable wrestling discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz of chaos on WhatCulture. Now, sorry for being late. I had to do some tasks. Or rather, I had to invite men into my home to perform those tasks and feel uneasy and lesser than them.
Yep. But we're wrestling fans speaking to wrestling fans. I feel like this conversation will carry some weight.
Indeed.
I think people will be able to relate in some capacity. Maybe not in some cases.
Is the dishwasher still knackered? Yeah. Mrs. put too much dishes in it.
Can you please?
Funny. That is funny.
Please make it work, Sarah. I'm incapable.
Yeah, I'm incapable. I'm lesser than you. And then they do the work. They're very nice. It's not their fault I'm uneasy around them because they are way more manly and qualified to do traditionally manly tasks than me. I just got doing and wrap the inaudible around it. Cool, excellent. Thank you very much, and thank you. So we're a day late, but we are here as promised.
What were their thoughts on Dynamite?
Didn't ask.
Oh, okay.
Did not ask at all.
Didn't check in. Like, what were their early C2 predictions?
No, didn't have any. So if you listen to the preview on Wednesday, you will recall the most enthusiastic tone and like theoretical praise that we have cultivated, I guess, since the weeks before All In Texas, which was an excellent show, incredibly well built, kind of balls on the table. This is the very best card we can offer this year, and we're doing it because this is going to be our WrestleMania. As of Wednesday daytime, this is the most excited I've felt about AEW since the summer. It's wavered to a degree, but not in terms of the C2, which got off to a very, very bright start, and the best is yet to come. And I enjoyed the booking. I enjoyed the permutations. I enjoyed the matches, not as much as I thought I would, but it wasn't the matches we saw on Wednesday. And if there's time, I'll briefly touch on what I saw of Collision deeper into the podcast, I guess. Those weren't the matches I was truly looking forward to the most. I got what I wanted out of those matches. The best is yet to come. So I'm broadly very, very happy about the C2, with one exception, which we'll get to. Everything else on the show I had a real problem with. And concerningly, one of those things with which I have a problem is your main event picture. I know some people don't like it when we're moody. There's going to be some effusive praise for this C2, and that'll carry on hopefully in the weeks to come. And I'm not doing this as a gimmick like, oh God, the data shows that the Dudley boys are getting too. I'll just say what I want. I'm a little bit too real, and everyone knows this. There will be some genuinely earnest praise of the C2 today and hopefully in the weeks to come. I'm going to have a rant about this main event scene. I think it sucks. But it'll be a happier ending. So a little bit of crap in the middle of this sandwich you're going to have to eat. But I've got some salient points in there. I'm not just moaning for the sake of it. I'm not just regurgitating the same talking points. I've got, I think, an insight into why some of this is so bad. But we'll get to it. Hamflett, what were your broad thoughts on Wednesday's Dynamite?
Ultimately, about the same of yours, but possibly with, I was going to say wider extremes, but maybe I don't think so anymore. I was thinking from our delicate preamble over the desks when neither of us ever want to give away the whole conversation because we look forward to getting in the studio and doing it. I was of the opinion that I think I'm a little bit higher on the C2 than Sidge and even lower on the main event scene.
I don't think so.
And then that intro there has made me think, maybe we're on the same, maybe we're effing actually.
Yeah.
The C2 for me, I had even less issue with it than you did because I don't really go in caring about the quality of the matches.
I've only got one issue, and it doesn't pertain to the actual action.
I suppose, broadly about the action, it's not high on my list of needs.
Yeah.
Like, we've got different needs. Same tournament, different needs. I went into the preview excited to fantasy book and speculate on the permutations. I wanted that thing where you get some right for the vindication and get some surprises, because it's nice to have surprises.
Yes.
And already it's delivered on those terms. So much so to the point of the last thing you said there. As we all know, Sidge watches SmackDown on a Wednesday. I watch Collision on a Wednesday. That's how we keep up with the other side of our coverage of our joint favourite promotions, AEW and WWE. Not this week, Sidge. I watched Collision on a Friday because I was so into the C2.
Yeah, hoorah!
Hoorah! You know, I was like, well, the C2 match is on Collision. First week at least. I want to be Mr. Watched Everything. So I got up this morning, and even though we were reviewing Dynamite, I was like, I want to be so C2'd that I've seen it all. And I watched myself the whole 2 stinking hours of Collision. C2 still good. C2 still good. Like, it might very effectively do its job of getting me to stick with that weekend show, that B show. Not least because, as we learned on this Dynamite, obviously, generous times for us in the UK. Those UK TV tapings, for the first time, AEW are going to air them live.
Are they?
I think so. Don't shake your head, please. Like,
no, they've never done it before. That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure, unless I've misread it, they're going to air them at the live times for us and let the Yanks over there in the other country deal with it at the weird times. I'm sure, because that was where I saw it. I was like, you know, when like in WWE and AEW, they're like, it's crazy world. We're airing Raw at 3 p.m. assholes. Get home early from work and check that click or
like the up or and down or
channels and start times. Blows their mind. Yeah, what's going on? Well, we just get told, hey, it's half an hour early.
Yeah, half an hour early.
Got you. No worries.
It's easily comprehended.
2:30 in the afternoon for Dynamite. What? I think that means. I think we're eating good in December.
Still won't be on ITV properly 6 years later.
Yeah, no, that will turn up in 2026 as planned and scheduled.
We'll see.
ITV4, like 1 a.m. Shout out to my In Your House colleague Benno and our friend at Grapple Benno, who made the point years ago that like some of AEW's ITV4 ratings are definitely because people fell asleep in front of the telly. It's the proper channel to eat your curry after the pub and just. Let's go. Another strong week for AEW in England.
Bring the boom. Bring the goon. Dynamite.
But yeah, C2, good. Main event scene. Get the hell out.
Honestly, the layers of hatred I had for the main event scene angle on Wednesday's Dynamite, I will count them and I will eviscerate each one. But we start on a very, very positive note. It is the first match in the Continental Classic. It is Kazuchika Okada versus Kyle Fletcher in Gold League, Gold League, Gold League, Gold League. And it rules. And it rules in a different way. You see the names Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher on the same match graphic, and you're half thinking, right, okay, well, these are two of the, state-of-the-art main event, critically acclaimed workers of their day. You're expecting that sort of epic quality, which can sometimes feel forced. This was different. This was so well observed, aligned with the characters and where they're at in the story. This was, quite frankly, a lot of fun. The general thrust of the match is that Kyle Fletcher is a heel, and he can stooge, and he's really funny at times. Kazuchika Okada is a heel, and he can stooge, and he's very, very funny at times. So they explore and make great use of a really challenging dynamic, which is as rare as it is for a reason, in that they are both playing heels, and they both have a laugh with it. So they do the whole, hello, sir, fellow Don Callis family member, yes, competitive context, and they both instantly go for like a ball shot with their feet, and then they catch each other's feet as if to say, you son of a bitch. Then they do it again, and then they go through, like a bit of a wrestling match, and it's like, it's these two, so it's obviously going to be good at an absolute minimum. And then Kazuchika Okada, they might be taking it a little bit too far, but it's still so funny that I don't care, because we are told, it's drilled into us. This is, I don't know why the whole promotion isn't like this, but be that as it may, there are no interferences. There is a 20-minute time limit for every single match. No interferences. So you are conditioned to think spirited, clean, pure, sporting, athletic action. Kazuchika Okada just shoves the referee, and it can't be anybody else other than him doing it because there's no one interfering. And Okada goes, sorry, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. So he's like, oh, don't disqualify me. I don't know what happened there, please. Then like 5 minutes later, Cal Fletcher does the exact same thing.
It's lovely.
And they both wear a pair of absolutely brilliant, hilarious facial expressions. Maybe not the very best match to set the tone. This might have actually functioned better second on the night, but whatever. I had a lot of fun with it, didn't care. And what happens is they have this match. It's these two. It's Okada. It's never going short, but he's having some fun with it. They try to cheat. They try to like fool each other, and then it gets to like 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna have to win now. And then they have this 2-minute like incredible climactic sequence where it starts to feel like the Okada Fletcher match that you would expect. 2 seconds. Let me just check my notes here. Usual disclaimer: I don't do this for a living. I'm not trained in hosting. I'm not very good at it, but you're gonna have to bear with me. This is great spot where Fletcher ducks a Rainmaker into a half and half. One of, like, I wouldn't say several, but there's a handful of, like, really good Okada tier near falls in this one. We get another one when Fletcher counters a Rainmaker into this, like, wildly executed, desperate Michinoku driver. This is when you get the 15-minute time call. It's like, oh, Christ, we're going to really have to win now. Awesome, awesome spot where Okada motions to set up the Rainmaker. Fletcher ducks. And like Rick Knox, almost like ducks, gets out the way. But because they've established, I'll shove him over, you honestly think he's going to get internally decapitated at this very second.
Line of fire, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And very quickly after that, so Okada's like, oh, don't want to get disqualified. Then he tries it on Fletcher after raking his eyes, and he's thinking, that's how he's going to win. And this is Okada. That sort of swing in momentum of the classic New Japan main event style was like less of a swing in momentum, more like a vibration for how quick it can go. So he rakes the eyes and is like, oh, well, that's how he's won. Rainmaker, no. Cazadora, counter, the execution of which is perfect. Okada's legs are like going absolutely crazy, going, oh, this can't be happening. And it does, in fact, happen. Kylo Fletcher from Ireland. I don't know where that came from. But Kyle O'Fletcher, as we are now calling him, gets the win. And Okada can't believe it, but in a brilliant contrast to how he sort of interacts constantly with Konosuke Takeshita. There's like a little handshake at the end, like, you got me. Okada's behind the 8-ball. I thought this was a lot of fun. Different match than you expect, but you got the 3 minutes of what you would expect.
I adored this.
Yeah, it was great.
I was absolutely purring at points in this match, genuinely. We talked in the preview about, well, you spoke a lot about that, the potential quality of the match based on the prior matches they'd had, and I think it was a good, not great, was the general consensus on they were one apiece, weren't they? When they
one apiece, yeah.
So this was great to me because this is now the one I'll remember. I couldn't draw from. I remembered that Fletcher had beat him once, but I couldn't draw anything from memory about.
Did they have one in Cardiff? Or wherever they went the first time in the UK?
Maybe, yeah. It didn't stick with me other than the fact that I knew Fletcher had a win over him.
Yeah.
Now they've had a match that I'll remember, a match that had this identity that will really stick with me. I'll get what you're saying about how sometimes these tournaments just require an out-and-out balls-to-the-wall banger to kick the actual tournament off, but I think this was just as effective because of the nature of the result.
Yeah.
It didn't scan as a fluke because it can't, because otherwise that would undermine the last year of Kyle Fletcher's life. Like, he's got to be seen to be a guy that can beat Okada rather than, did you just beat Okada?
Yeah.
But yet,
I bought it.
Well, because of the structure of the match, like, they made it seem like whoever wins is almost...
I wasn't gobsmacked, put it that way, which says a lot about how they've promoted Fletcher throughout the last year.
They used, like, the foot race element of this match to make the conclusion a shock, regardless of who won. You'd have the same level of, oh my God, even if Okada beat Fletcher, even though that was the one that we all would have assumed. Yeah. And I love that. These two were perfectly placed to have the first match because, yes, now Okada's got to go on and win and win and win and win.
Yeah.
But he now he's needing another team to slip up. Like, he now needs Fletcher to slip up to beat his fellow Don Callis family man.
And that's going to hopefully result in some really cool character moments.
Super exciting, isn't it? Down the stretch. I couldn't have loved this more. I thought the structure was absolutely impeccable.
I just love that little collective. Oh, God, we need to start really wrestling now.
There was a real Coliseum video gem element to that double heat, double cheat thing. Yeah. And you're reading the back of the video and you're like, but they're baddies. They can't wrestle each other. And then you see all the old tricks getting played. So I love that about the opening portion. And then, the sort of the the closing. Again, like a nice, very wrestling, but a booking device to remind you, hang on, not only is there no interference, so the cheating's got to be super creative, but also there's a time limit on this. There's a massive competitive element.
I love the urgency.
So you cannot, Kazuchika Okada, be a dickhead. You cannot bide your time, Kyle Fletcher. You've got to get this done.
Yeah.
This was extremely effective as a, dare I say it, that kind of, I'm not going to use WWE, but just that kind of, have you ever watched wrestling before? Well, here's exactly what all of the wrestling you're going to watch in December is going to be.
Yeah.
Brand new viewer who's literally woken up and watching wrestling. This illustrated perfectly. Exposition, but in all the good ways. Here's every possible version of what this tournament can give you. To the point where you even kind of are rooting for one of the baddies because you like him more than the other baddie. And Fletcher got just enough of that. Because he's another guy. This Takeshita babyface turn that is happening within the Don Callis family, they're doing like a smaller version of it with Fletcher, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they can't be as overt because Takeshita's used to be the one that's being profiled. So I thought there was a real lightness of touch with how Fletcher won this match that I massively appreciate.
Yeah.
I loved this. I don't think there's going to be... I loved Gunther and Carmelo Hayes on Monday, but I include this weekend. I don't think there's going to be a better match that I'll watch of the Wrestling Week cover this week than this.
You've only got SmackDown to go.
Well,
I mean, come on, bro. It's because you're recording.
The big Survivor Series match and then War
I
Games.
forgot about... I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, double War Games skiing. But yeah, like this, I think this is stolen the week. Loved it.
I absolutely love this as well. Again, just as a little tiny epilogue to the usual post-pay-per-view discourse, which because it's the usual post-pay-per-view discourse and no one's just making it up to be mean about your beloved AEW, it means it probably should be addressed in some way, shape, or form at some point soon. But yeah, the sense of urgency with, there's only 20 minutes here, suggests to me that there is like massive value in sticking to a time limit and informing the urgency. Because the idea of, they have to get to the finish soon, just completely elevated this into something really, 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 really quite good. So, as I said at the onset of this podcast, everything in the C2 was really, really, at a minimum, promising. Everything else on the show, literally everything else, I was like, what the hell is this? And we get to footage is played of the match at Full Gear between the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander with Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega, the $1 million match, okay? Lexi Nair is outside of Kenny Omega's locker room. He opens the door and Lexi Nair basically inquires as to, what's the status of the Elite? We saw them reunite. It was emotional. We did it. After weeks and 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 weeks of them either feuding or communicating with body language of, come on, this isn't us, or we could get back together or whatever. It's like the Millhouse in Radioactive Man, but we did it. It took however many years, but we did it. And then Kenny Omega, it's done. Kenny Omega says it's complicated. I'm going to scream. I'm going to actively resent my favorite wrestler of all time. You did it. It's done. You're reunited. You cried. Are we now set for, should we team together? 1 month later, they're teaming together. Are we doing good teamwork? Or is there still a little bit of residual tension and mixed feelings? Oh, God, we did some friendly fire spots in a match, even though we do them all the time. Does that mean we're not really friends? Trios friends.
Yeah.
I hated this. And then he's like, well, we just don't know for sure. It's like, well, you did it. So I do. And then, I was once fooled by Don Callis as well. Kenny Omega said, so the Bucks have been fooled by him twice. Mm-hmm. They were like the Elite together.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the fans wanted to get up for this because when Kenny Omega mentions them, they do a little pop. Do the Young Bucks deserve a second chance? Technically, it's a third if them being aligned with Don Callis as the family, which would suggest if you're doing this 3 times and it's not over that really much, stop doing it. Omega closes the door. Lexi Nair stands there with a bit of a WWE face on, if I'm being honest, and the Young Bucks pop out, say, what's up? It's done.
Wait,
just be a trio. Just be a trio.
They were, before Lexi Nair got there then.
They were thrashing things out.
they don't want us to know that, but they've given it away, haven't they? They thought the cameras have left. And rumbled. Thing is, with this as well,
I don't care.
You invoked WWE, in my opinion, here for the right reasons. Sometimes I feel the need to pick you up when you errantly drop those initials, but today you've used them correctly because Lexi Nair forced to be you like idiot plot, don't you? Forced to be the idiot in this near idiot plot.
It's near.
It's near. Because
there's an idiot plot later.
There is a maybe speaking of that and speaking of some of the idiots, there's a very clear path.
Just be a trio and go for the belt.
Just
be a trio and go for the belt.
Like it's there. You've got these baddies that are the ops and the trios belts. So kind of surplus to this presentation of the ops currently anyway. And then wouldn't you know it, look who's reunited just in time. Like the elite are back together. Well, that's useful because like Hangman Page has found himself in a bit of a skirmish with the ops. Isn't this neat and tight? I know you're dreading it, but like they have actually. I'm not saying look
dread it, run from it. It's the elite law.
What is it when, like, imagine a jigsaw. Like, Jigsaw's been around since the beginning of time. Technology can't even beat jigsaws. People just like jigsaws. It's a mental health release to just make a jigsaw. What happens when you don't like the completed puzzle? Like, the pieces are actually out on the table for this. And for the trios for the elite to win the trios belts, for them to be like, we got your hanger, we'll get the belts.
After 2 months of like, you give us a super kick. Does that mean you're not my friend?
The picture is completed. What did I put these puzzle pieces together for?
I don't want to resent this dude. I love him. It's Kenny Omega. I'm moving on. I hate it. And it's the entire rest of my life as a fan of Kenny Omega. I'm never escaping this. Great. In a much better follow-up to Full Gear, we get a bloodied, battered Mark Briscoe cutting a promo in the immediate aftermath of the pay-per-view, which is shown here. Just like classic Briscoe stuff. He's talking like very candidly about the loss of his brother and how he felt like he didn't want to come back to pro wrestling before having the epiphany of he would have wanted it to not only come back but thrive in it. And he said it took a long time for him to do that. Failure after failure, loss after loss. But here he is. He is your new TNT champion. And it's just a lovely moment, this.
Do you know what I want, Sidge?
What?
I want Mark Briscoe to reference the fact that Kyle Fletcher, as TNT champion, got a world title shot. And that's what this Joe experiment is for. He gets a title shot and he wins. And Mark Briscoe becomes the world champion as TNT champion. Tony Khan will not book this. He's got 4 other babyfaces we're really bored of to get through first.
Yeah.
This is the guy. And that TNT belt should be this like, well, we get shots, don't we? And he gets one and he wins. And they just didn't want to run Briscoe, Hangman Page. But Joe's the perfect guy to be like, come on, mate. And then Mark Briscoe gets it done because right there is your folk hero #1 top babyface. Like, it's not even close.
Not even close.
They did a pretty admirable job on Collision of answering a lot of critics with getting something built up for Winter is Coming. But TNT champion Briscoe is world heavyweight champion elect.
Yeah.
Briscoe. He's the guy.
All right. Away from the C2, we go to the Babes of Wrath versus Sisters of Sin, and this absolutely sucks ass.
Bad this.
It sucked ass. Okay. To the point where it's just there's no real story to the match other than the heels can cheat and do blind tags, and it's up to the baby faces you like to thwart that, cut it out, prevail, win, and they do, thank God. It means no Sisters of Sin matches with stakes or importance for the foreseeable, because again we have to talk about this. It
was flub heavy, this match.
It was flub heavy, but this awful cyclical way of you're setting up the likes of Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and at this point, particularly Julia Hart, to fail because you put them in a match, they don't get any heat, they don't have the muscle memory to confidently get through it without any flubs, and their stuff looks tight and snug and just good and locked in, and then they go however many weeks or days without really wrestling under the lights where it matters again, and then it's just a constant reset, go back to the checkpoint of promising wrestler who doesn't have really the opportunity to get that muscle memory and just work, get it down pat. And this is true of literally anything. Like, I remember when I was out of the habit of writing, after, I used to love doing it at school, throughout school, and then I did it at university, and like you did it daily, and it just flowed out of you. The idea of then going, you know what? I've been in a job that I don't necessarily like or I'm very good at. I'm going to spend some weekends just doing the grind and then working. Then you first see that blank page and you're like, Christ, how did I ever do this? I'm a hack. I've got no ideas. I can't even start. And they tell you, write down a bunch of crap for 3 hours and then eventually you'll get into that rhythm and stuff, And then now, like, touch wood, I don't think I've ever had writer's block in 9 years of working here because you're just in the habit of doing it. It just comes naturally to you. I don't have that checkpoint where I'm away for like however long and then I'm gonna have to start this again. And I can't add. I've used an analogy there of drawing on life experience. I cannot say anything more about the problem facing a lot of AEW's young wrestlers other than they'll never improve. They'll never progress. They'll always stagnate. It's not just Julia Hart, who I'm picking on, who needs to retire that old school spot yesterday because she conveys absolutely nothing in the way of intimidation or presence. It's just she's got a bit of an alt look. It's not carrying nothing. Hook, oh my God, he's not good anymore really either. Start getting dates on the indies. It's this match, sorry. So there's a few moments I just want to pick out.
Okay.
There's like, I'm going to pick out some of the flubs, right? There's like an awkward looking double team kick that the Sisters of Sin do that just doesn't look like it goes anywhere. There's the rope walk with the clubbing blow. It doesn't look good. After which Sky Blue tags in, gets something that vaguely resembles a kick, and just there's so many oh no.
This is just a
deflating
set table,
moments.
by the way, considering this is a tournament semi-final. Like, this is heatless. Like, the point of slapping stakes on things is that it should actually not carry the match, but it should at least sort of elevate the atmosphere and give the workers in there a bit of a boost. You would have, again, to go back to the C2, right? Complete stranger sits in front of AEW and has to gather it all from the context clues. You would have zero idea this was a tournament semi-final, and virtually all of it is on the line. The fans were not giving them a thing.
Not a thing. And there's a spot where everything that isn't botched or any sequence where they don't seem to just get lost and everything's hesitant, nothing actually looks good or is crisp or connects well. There's a bit where Sky Blue makes a blind tag, and apparently Willow Nightingale's meant to be unaware of this, but because you don't take seriously at this point, I'm sorry, the idea that Sky Blue and Julia Hart are really strong wrestlers, them doing something crafty and clever and devilish just doesn't, it's like, well, it just doesn't scan as like, oh, they're really clever, they're really sort of like mischievous, and they're good cheaters, they're good heels. It just looks like a thing that they do in a match, and there's no credibility behind literally anything. And then comes the moment. Sky Blue hits a powerbomb. Julia Hart tries to follow it up with a moonsault. She's drastically out of position. There's no way to recover this. So she hits the moonsault. She realizes mid-flight or on impact, miles away from the intended target, who I think is Cameron, doesn't matter. And then she does the moonsault. This is Julia Hart. Kind of lands on her feet and her arse at the same time. Realizes she's completely missed. And in a moment of pure, hilarious panic, goes, eh! And then does this like little tadpole leap.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Does she maybe drive an elbow or an axe handley thing?
Something like
that.
Either way,
it's pretty bleak.
Either way, Willow Nightingale hits Hart with a doctor bomb to win the match. It was rough. This sort of thing will keep happening because this has happened before with the Julia Hart moonsault, right? Sky Blue seems to only be able to hit her finish correctly half the time, to the point where she needs to retire that, I think. But if she ain't doing it 4 or 5 nights a week, that finish, which is quite ambitious for our level of experience, really, it's not going to happen for them. I'm sick of this. I had an idea, because the women in AEW thrive in the plunder environment, and the reason realistically is, one, They're completely up for it and committed, and you can tell they've all got ideas, and there's talent there, and there's a base to build on there. But the problem is the schedule does not allow them to build on it right. But because there's obviously creativity and commitment there, they're great in plunder matches a lot of the time. But here's the other side of that is plunder matches allow shortcuts. There's a reason why the most limited workers in the Attitude Era have bowling balls, bacon trays, chairs, kendo sticks.
You know, when we talk about Road Dogg's best run as a singles wrestler ever.
Yeah, it's that.
Should that happen?
AEW, instead of having, and it's too bloody late now, but they can de-emphasize this title. They've done it with titles before. If they are not going to either run a live event schedule, a house show loop, which they shouldn't, they wouldn't draw flies. And if they aren't going to actively encourage, that's the thing, I don't know how the system works. Are they telling them to take indie dates? It's in their contract that they can, and most of them I expect.
If the roster was smaller, these would be what you would consider Ring of Honor, though, wouldn't you? Ring of Honor remain in their NXT or something where you don't have to watch.
It doesn't really work like that, or if it does, it's not working. I don't know, but like if everything just stays as it is and it's just this stagnant stasis or whatever, should they introduce a women's hardcore championship?
Yeah, it's where it
feels like there's going to be a belt that can get the best out of the wrestlers and actually makes narrative sense. And
we could be accused of hypocrisy here because we have both loudly said, "Please, no more plunder," and then. But
there's going to be plunder anyway. There's going to be plunder anyway, whether I like it or not.
Stick a belt in there. Yeah.
Any more thoughts on this match? It was grim.
It was a shame. I have broadly not more than broadly. Like, I've enjoyed this tournament for a couple of surprises. The timing of Out around Blood and Guts, and that's another thing, by the way. Sky Blue was one of the standouts of Blood and Guts 2 weeks ago.
I know.
That's to your point. That's got to be evidence of how damaging this this broken process can be. That one of the big headline makers from a match 2 weeks ago on television can just suddenly feel a million years from the summit again a couple of weeks later. I'm
just looking through Julia Hart's cage match here, and yes, she's gone to CMLL. That to me is a sign of I do want to get better at this, And October, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates in October. I'm not, and again, pancakes, waffles. I'm not saying that they should do the capital K killer calendar of what 1989 Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but there's got to be
double shots. Yeah, no, it's I just thought that this
July 1, 2, 3, 4 matches a month. June 2 matches in June. 2 matches in June. 2. How can you get better doing that?
Were they right? Even in an era of if there was reps, right? Were they still looking for? Let's be absolutely brutally fair about this.
We're a little bit too real.
One good wrestler to carry a tag match in Willow Nightingale.
Even she couldn't do that.
And this, that's kind of what they're asking here.
I will say as well, Holly Cameron looked good.
I think she's always had that grasp of the intangibles in such a way that she's going to have bad nights, but and I've always liked her gradual improvement across. She looks like somebody that is getting reps, even though she doesn't, because she does seem to pick up a little bit.
I'm checking that cage
every
match.
time. Does she wrestle more, or is she just
doesn't look like it?
I think she's just got that. Some people have got that knack of getting better and growing into things, and I've always thought that. Back from when
similar schedule. I'm looking here,
but not everybody improves in the same way, do they? Not everybody sort of
4 matches in October. You're looking at 1 match a week. I mean, it's just not working.
The system is going to suit some people. The fact that she, everybody loves talking about how multi-skilled she is as a ventriloquist and a linguist and a musician and stuff. She's obviously got a knack.
She's got an aptitude.
Yeah, she can pick up a skill, but that's not how everybody else is going to develop. And there's no one-size-fits-all model for wrestler development. This was evidence of that, sadly. And I just thought it was a bit of a shame because I have quite enjoyed this tournament and I was hyped for the belts. And this felt like the first time it's taken a big step back. I will say...
I'm looking at Hook as well. I don't want to be accused of being sexist here. It's a problem. Look at Hook. October, he has 1, 2, 3, 4 matches. And yes, he is just kind of coming back from injury, but he's a month back into the run. One of them is there's a dark match on Dynamite, beats Griff Garrison in 2 minutes on Collision. What can you possibly do?
I mean, yeah. if they were doing dark road shows of a 200,
they did try this. They couldn't draw.
Yeah, they'd find that it would cost more than it was worth it to them. And then maybe not though, because maybe losing money on a few tickets is worth more in the long term when you've got a more prepared roster when a push comes around. You know, like
is Hook, who I'm looking at this since coming back from injury, right? I see not one indie date. Not one indie date. It's all AEW. When he was active throughout most of 2024, I can't see one indie date here. Like, literally not one.
Don't a lot of them price themselves quite high on account of the TV exposure as well?
And I guess that's fair enough. But, and look, I'm not saying Hook's a lazy bastard who is, you know, he's got his route in because he's Taz's kid. I'm not saying that. I've got no real idea how early he gets to the buildings, whose ear he's in to try and get advice, how much he's in the gym, how much tape study he's doing, right? I've got no idea. And I'm not a wrestler, evidently. But come on. If he's going to, like, what can I need to do in this? What can I need to do in this match? Surely it's a case of get yourself some indie dates.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't get much money.
We're allowed to be a little bit Roy Keane on this. It's your job.
It's your job.
Like, we're allowed to be a little bit, you know.
And if you look at who he's, like, getting mentored by, think like Eddie Kingston, Samoa Joe, Punk, Danielson, the greats of that Taz.
Like, they killed themselves out there.
Like I'm saying, post-territory, the only time there's been an actual generation of greats, and there was loads of them, was when there was loads and loads of places to go out there and learn how to get over, face hostile crowds, because really, Hook, and it could happen for him, it's not going well for him at all. He could eventually get like sort of forged in the fires of a hostile crowd. I always use the example of the Young Bucks, right? And how this used to work, and how, like, back in my day, 2012, right? This is how it kind of used to work to a degree. And you get, this is, it's from their book, and it's always stuck with me of like, this is kind of how it works, where you get the both worlds thing, right? Where you get the muscle memory of just work, and the Bucks would just fly for a pittance or drive anywhere they could. Like, they were working like those NWA soundstage tapings and PWG in around California, and they were begging, do we finally get to go to the East Coast with Ring of Honor for a pittance? And they were grinding, hustling, So they had, as much as they physically were able to do, right, work, wrestle, to a point, right, where they honed their act across the West Coast to such a degree that the PWG fans started to recognize, that's too honed. That's too honed. Too polished. You're too sort of like samey in there. You've got your routine down telepathically between yous. And like they were wrestling since they were 12, 13. So they are a bit of an outlier rather, in that they had, it's true, they had the wrestling ring set up, they had their own little fed, they got people around to watch it. So maybe they wanted it more, and that's why many people regard them as the best tag team ever, because they wanted it. Is Hook going to be remembered? Is he in the best 100 wrestlers in the world in 2025? No, he isn't. Because they do dates, spare time. And I'm not saying that Hook doesn't work hard, but why can't he take some indie dates? I'd like a genuine answer to that question, actually. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to get it from, I don't think I'm going to get it, but I just want to know the answer. So anyway, back to the Young Bucks before we move on to one of my least favorite things on Dynamite all year. They honed their act across the West Coast from the backyard days to any promoter that would have them, right? So much so that by about 2009, 10-ish, maybe 11, they get booed out the building of Reseda because it's just so polished and just them, to the point where they're not really doing anything imaginative. They've stagnated, but in a really way that everything's tight and locked in. The fans eventually start chanting, same old sh, which is basically, very good. You've got your little routine down and everything looks great all the time. but it's boring. Where's the creativity? So they do the loop of muscle memory, muscle memory, muscle memory. They get almost too good at that. Then it's the hostile environment, which you kind of need it. You need, if someone's giving you loads of, like a crowd giving you loads of jip, how else are you going to learn that quick fire comeback and like that feeling of I'm dominating you, you dickhead. You don't have a microphone in your hand. I do. I'm wittier than you.
Stand-up comedian thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got that dominion over you because I'm a performer and I've only accrued this experience by there's some mouthy drunk in some crap hole armory. You're an easy victim. I'll target my ire at you, and then they eventually get honed at that as well. So they're chanting same old same old Then they have this moment of inspiration, the Young Bucks. Now, I'm sorry if I've gone on long in it, because I think I have told the story before. But when the crowd chant same old at this point, the Bucks are like, WWE don't care about tag team wrestling. We've had a disaster of a run in TNA. Is there any money in this? And then they have this sort of freedom of, we kind of failed. So why don't we just, like failure can be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go out there and do it. So they have this feeling, this mindset of WWE. We've got this reputation in the business as little dickheads because we've had some like snafus at WWE tryouts. So we've pissed off Booker T.
Booker and RVD, wasn't it?
And RVD and TNA as well. We've had this crap TNA run, and that ain't getting any better. There might be something in Ring of Honor, but how is that going to like future-proof our kids and all the rest of it? So having this bit of a career crisis, the Bucks, and then they just start thinking, well, we've already kind of failed. Why can't we just sort of do what we want a little bit? So the PWG fans chant same old at the sequence they do. So look at each other, do the exact same thing, move for move, and then they get like a little, okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
You've literally done the same old like they repeat it move for move. And in PWG, as in the indies, you can kind of get away with that kind of creative expression. That's their eureka moment of, we'll just be completely obnoxious, like meta, like really pushing against the boundary of.
Ironically, it's Cactus Jack putting the headlock on in the ECW arena, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, we're really blurring that line between performance and like the story of, what if it's about the performance of the story rather than the story and whatever. And then they just start going, we'll spam super kicks because people say we do too many. They become trolls basically. And then this act, and then they just take over the world eventually after that. Well, who can Julia Hart do? And that can approach that level of they are 1,000,000 miles away from their eureka moment. Who's getting over, in AEW right now? Who is getting over in AEW right now is like that person is probably the closest to being a frequent headliner. That person's Kyle Fletcher. Do you want a bit of inside baseball? Have enough years passed?
What about?
They had
heat.
They had heat in locker rooms when they were exploring that BritRes circuit because they would work for like less.
Yeah. As Aussie Open, getting tag credibility and that, they were.
Clear this with Phil, just in case.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's enough years have passed. Mm-hmm. So like, right, well, we'll do it.
Yep.
Because they wanted it. And now look at him. Look at where Fletcher is compared to who. Yes, he's had more years on him. I do feel...
Yeah, they wanted the gig more than they wanted the payday because they saw the long-term value of it, didn't they?
Because they wanted it. They wanted it. Look where Fletcher is now.
I want to make a point to get in front of something as well. You are not, in this analysis, looking at Hook and Julia Hart, and because I can hear it already, I can hear the bad faith response. So you're just pissed off because Hook and Julia Hart aren't the Young Bucks? No. You're making a point about the Young Bucks in 2012, not 2025. Yeah. You're not suggesting that these two young kids that are still early to wrestling and television should be the top of the card. It's, well, you're in the getting better period of your career, so look at the ways people have gotten better and do that. Yeah. That's the point, isn't it? There's not some sort of like-for-like comparison being made to the Young Bucks of
the wrestling landscape is broken to a degree in terms of it's not like it's a thriving hotbed of an indie scene.
Yeah.
But, I mean, look at some of the crap holes that the Bucks worked. Like Kenny Omega did that Frozen Lake, Canada, you might die doing this for like a pittance, for no money whatsoever, no exposure, no buzz, no acclaim, no praise. No one's going to talk about this. It's never going to go viral, but you do it to do it. It's I'm getting old, but surely the logic here would be, if it worked before and it forged careers and legacies, surely you would at least try and emulate that. But anyway, on to this pissed me off so much, bro. The Ops World Title Celebration. There's a lot to get through, and the more we get through, the more layers of contrivance are needed to produce this endless, contrived, fake, lame segment of television. There's people thrown to the truck. There's camera operators who just figure out that there's people entering the building. There are sound technicians going, well, we need the music for that. Do we need 2 entrance cues for this? Yeah, better, because they both want to look cool. One of the most fake, lame, not very well performed things I've seen in quite some time. And again, because this pertains to the main event scene in AEW, like, this needs a course correct.
Yeah, agree.
Tony Schiavone says, here come the Ops. Samoa Joe, the new AEW World Champion. What a terrible first night for him. What a terrible tone setter for a divisive decision. I didn't care about it personally. Like, 4 months is plenty of time. But if you're going to make a decision that bold, that's going to piss people off. You better back it up. And they absolutely did not do that. So Joe gets the mic. Says, Schiavone, tonight's a celebration. Don't ruin it. Take your hillbilly ass out of here. It's a cute line, but that's the bare minimum I expect from Joe. Joe tries to speak. And sorry, there's a lot to get through here. Just layers and layers and layers of contrivance. But before he can finish his thought, Swerve Strickland pulls up in the arena in a car. Nana saying, go get him, boss. It's a bit lame to begin with. Swerve has got a staple gun. Hangman Page subsequently appears and has a chain in his hand. The 2 walk backstage. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Joe's telling Shibata, go and take care of the scrubs. That's a word I've written down here. The Ops Dojo, break, hate it.
Yeah.
They've invented a bunch of guys who've not existed this time last week.
No, unless they were racking up wins on College. Or was there vignettes? Or let us know in the comments, I suppose. But like,
so these guys, Ops Dojo members. So I'm being led to believe that there are 2 dojos at AEW.
Yeah.
Surely it makes sense for the Death Riders. If they have to do this contrivance and they don't with anyone, all right, there's some little geek wrestlers who kind of want to learn the Death Riders way, and these little punks, Moxley brings them in or whatever, just to kick their ass and be a bit of a sadist in front of them. Do the Ops have a dojo and just train young guys?
You know how NXT's got loads of like universities and colleges and stuff? AEW's got dojos for that express purpose. You know what these are, don't you? These are work rate creepers.
Creepers?
Work rate
They're
creepers.
the creepers?
They're like the creepers with the holds. Creepers grabbing holds. That's all they are. They're gallus creepers.
What the hell is with creepers law?
It's so rubbish.
You know what else is rubbish as well? Like, they used to do this for Archer.
Yeah.
Because the Lance Archer bit in New Japan Pro Wrestling was hilarious, and it worked so well because the young lions actually were around ringside observing.
Yeah, they're not controlling.
Learning, having ice packs and stuff. Like, they had a function. So it was the opposite of contrived. The Lance Archer would kick the head in it, and it was hilarious. They invented AEW Young Lions for a Lance Archer, for a few Archer segments.
Funny entrances where he'd hoy one out before he even got there.
It's funny, but like, where did he come from? And these Ops Dojo kids, absolutely pathetic. So anyway, the Ops Dojo creepers, the Ops creepers, croppers, the croppers surround ringside. Joe says everything. So they're basically, he stations them to like ward off any emerging threat, which you've just seen from the use of really contrived pro wrestling US cable storytelling, because apparently it just has to be this way. It has to be this way.
The Devil's Masked Men, it's fine. It's normal.
Shut up, man. The camera operators just happen to be there, alerting the director, oh, you know, people are turning up, and wouldn't you just know it? They've arrived just in time for their rivals to be in the ring. It doesn't have to be this way, and it doesn't have to be executed this dismally neither. So anyway, as they are, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, because I wanted to block it from my memory. So the croppers are patrolling ringside to intimidate any encroaching threat. At which point, Samoa Joe, Mastermind, says, "You fools. This is how I did it." So he basically says, "I've got a master plan.
It don't make sense.
It don't make much sense.
This is how I did it."
Turning Hook heel. This is how I did it.
Wrestling's fake and we don't care. This is how I did it. That's good stuff. You're a funny guy.
Eddie Kingston couldn't pre-taste, man. This is how we did it.
We fed the sheets and said it was a plan, but this is how we do it.
We did a little ace and eights on the bitch. This is how we did
They
it.
did aces and eights, that bitch, they did.
Joe.
I haven't listened to all of it yet, but shout out to Grapple who called their review podcast Aces and Ops.
Oh, I like that.
Nice.
That is good stuff. I will check
God.
that out this weekend. Everything went according to plan. Shibata nailed Eddie Kingston. Hobbs was strong.
Yeah.
And then muscle busted Page in the middle of the ring. Here's the problem, though. The simpletons here in the crowd won't understand what went down. So here's a video package I directed on how they got the master plan. And they basically tell you, "Oh yeah, we aces and eights, that bitch." And it was still a bit confusing.
Why would it have mattered if Hook was a secret super genius evil plan? Couldn't he have just remained in the ops and the plan would have been identical?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Or couldn't he have went, "Oh, he's had an injury setback"? Is it like the whole idea is like, no, because Paige was meant to be stunned for 2 seconds, right?
yeah.
And not expect Hook to turn on him. So if he was in the ops the whole time, he would have been more on guard. I'm trying to defend this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I don't want to be completely like, it was rubbish, even though it was rubbish. So maybe that whole point was like, they can't know that Hook.
You needed something for the element of surprise.
Yeah, and it was an ace and an aces and eights and that bitch. And then they do this video package, and I guess if you want to give it, I like ideas. There was ideas here of Hook doing the quick tap in the 4-way to allow Joe into the match,
Getting back in the title picture, yeah.
even though he'd
Because Joe would have wanted
lost.
to do it first time and just been like, if he'd have beaten Page straight up first match, the ops wouldn't have turned heel. He wouldn't have had to go down.
So
the
Hook takes a dive
Yeah.
in a 4-way match, allowing Joe to once again become number 1 contender.
Mm-hmm.
There's like conversations played.
Then the fix was in.
And the fix is in. Jesus Christ. Hook then takes the mic. Hamflett.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, Sidge, but it's not exactly deadly game, is it? In terms of getting the belt off Hangman Page. It's not like... Couldn't have possibly seen it coming. Sorry, yeah. Hook takes the mic, and David Arquette emerges out of his mouth. Yeah! I'm sorry. To your point about reps, right? Because you cover the in-ring stuff always better
How
than
many
me.
promos live has Hook cut before this,
Jeez,
before this incredibly pivotal moment
Yeah.
in his career? Not many. Did it suck ass like
so
every
bad.
great promo did? Yes! We were literally talking the other day, maybe on the Raw review or the NXT, whatever. I watched some Fed to go to sleep. Just a little bit of like 90s. Wasn't that comforting enough to fall asleep. That's why I do it. This is why I do it.
We don't do bits, but if we did, I'm sniffing out that might become a bit.
That is why I do it. You know what it's from? Obviously, it's that incredible, like,
the enormous pop song.
yeah, that incredible jam. It's when it's a scene in Parks and Rec where
Is it Tom Haverford?
Tom Haverford's trying to impress a girl. He's, "I'll eat a full chili." You don't just like, "This is how you eat it." Anyway, I'm taking ownership of that now.
Oh, God.
So
You were mentioning that Austin was on Brother Love going,
if
man, pointing at the hand, and then 6 months later it's Austin 316.
So
Like,
basically, the ringmaster, contrary to the wider narrative, is if you reduce everything in history because you miss all of the events and you just half remember it, you distill ringmaster Steve Austin as, he comes in as DBRC's new $1 million champion, very, very dour, in-ring technician, no flavor, no pizzazz, no gaga. And then Austin goes, "Oh, well, this is rubbish. Can I be a serial killer instead?" "Yes, please." And then off to the races. People forget there's this weird sort of like evangelical televangelist element to it, where he's like, he's got his hand because he's with Brother Love as well, and he's like, man, he's basically the righteous. Dig what I'm saying, man. Go back and watch his first promo. It sounds like he's Dutch.
I think they probably scale his talking back.
It sounds like he's Dutch from Stone Cold Steve
Stone
Austin.
Cold.
I mean Dutch from the righteous.
The ringmaster. But yeah, it's almost like they pull that back a little bit because they've seen it, and then having never watched any Steve Austin ever, Vince McMahon goes, he can't talk. So they just make him the silent killer ringmaster wrestler. Yeah.
And then he's like, it's like, it's not a good promo. And it's kind of weird, but it's Austin getting a grip of a new character. And it's as if he's not spoken before. He's in the Hollywood Blondes, for Christ's sake. What I'm saying is, sometimes it takes years to get good at this and to like elevate crap material and all the rest of it. I can count. He probably talked during the Jericho feud.
Yeah.
Because Jericho, he would have made damn sure.
Jericho, let's speak on Chris Jericho. He despises his first few promos in WWE.
Yeah.
He hates him watching himself back. And this is a guy that would talk his way into all sorts. It's just like, it doesn't always have to work perfect every single time. But so there's now like reps and...
Who might have spoken 50 times between backstage and when he's been featured like in that program with Jericho. He would have said words. I just can't remember a single one of them, and I was never taken by them. Maybe go on the indies for 3 years and learn how to do it.
It was what really struck me here, because we haven't had this in quite a while in wrestling, because now I've complained about it. Now people have to wait too long to get their spot. You know, like how I've sort of like, if powered by Brian Alvarez of all people, been like, you know what, why don't you just like chuck a belt on one of these 22, 23-year-old prodigies and just see how it goes?
Not this one.
This is kind of that situation, right? And then ultimately, I'm hoisted by my own petard because somebody's been given the big moment, capital M, the big sort of pivot point in a story, and he's the one responsible. And like, this is the argument against it. This is why we're stuck with 48-year-old world champions, because it's on both sides, it's on like both companies. Punk. CM Punk, Samoa Joe. This is why they've got the belts, and they can't even trust 30-year-olds, let alone 20-year-olds, because people get a spot and some of them aren't equipped, and you get this.
It was awful.
Garbage, yeah.
It got out from the audience.
It's not ideal because you do want to see loads more younger people just getting that chance now. And Hook's got one. And look, we might be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. 6 weeks' time, he could be our favourite heel. You know, Dominic Mysterio made it.
Yeah.
And there would have been a point where you're watching him going, you can't do this, mate. And he made it. He's proper made it. So anyone still can.
Dominic Mysterio, though, is such a good character that people tend to not care about how bad he is in the ring. And in fact, that's almost a feature, not a bug, because it's like, oh, this guy's winning again. Look at him. He's obviously rubbish. He does one incredibly janky, awkward thing in one match. They've found a specific character that excuses the problem Dom still has in the ring.
Yeah.
Where it's like, do you really think he would be? I mean, we're post-Uso now. Jey Uso, the standards don't exist anymore. So maybe Dominic Mysterio would, in fact, be trusted with a 20-minute WrestleMania main event. But God, it wouldn't be good.
Bad promo.
Anyway, and here's the thing as well.
Joe sucks as well, by the way.
Joe's
Never been on Joe. He's trying to do this weird, like, a gravelly, cheap heat world champion thing in his voice. And he sounded like a dickhead.
You know the thing about Samoa Joe that the ball knowers will never admit? He could be very arch. And cringeworthy with it.
Yeah.
He sometimes, when he's gruff and intimidating and he says a swear word and he threatens to kill you and you believe it in 10 seconds, like Joe's one of the best of his era, best of the century. He in AEW can be a little bit arch and throw around sort of like his
quite cheesy, isn't it?
Delivery's quite corny at times, but hey, we're the only people brave enough to say that. We're a little bit too real.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing as well. What the hell is Hook talking about? Who the hell is Hook talking to? What?
It was only You Fools thing, wasn't it?
It's in a bit of You Fools, but then the thing I took from this, and this is a new character, and the best second-generation wrestler ever.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? I know he's Hook's son, Taz's son.
Yeah.
But first of all, he's not that. Is that just like, oh, I need to think of something to say?
Yeah, because it's not like it's targeted at Hangman and Swerve, is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just befuddled.
Second-generation stars. Like, yeah, it was just,
you
needed a...
You say that, but Davey Page back in Mid-Atlantic, he could work, he could go. Should have got a main event spot, if anything.
He needed a big line, and that is at least heat. It's the Dominic Mysterio heat of, like,
honestly,
how dare you...
Gordon Strickland in Portland, he could cut a promo with him, he could go. The hell are you mentioning your generation for?
Is that the idea? Is because that's currently a bit of a thing with the success of a Dominic Mysterio. There's probably another one I'm thinking of where like the undeserving Nepo baby. Are they trying to lean on that? Is Tony Khan using him?
Dominic Mysterio's relative huge success as a way for Hook to get deluded Miz heat. Because that's ace.
Nepo heat is what I mean. You know, like
it's ace. It's ace. Anyway, thank God. Yeah. This is almost over. We get Strickland's admittedly goated new theme to cut Hook off, thank Christ. He's walking in the crowd. Then we get Paige's music. He's at the bar, has a quick drink. And then Paige and Strickland, the super cool babyface team up. Oh, no. And they kick the Cropper's ass. Paige smashes the bottle on one of them's heads, and they're both they get a Cropper each, hang them with a chain on the ropes, and the real ops, the dojo leaders of this dojo that just exists, scream, cheese it, and that's your segment. I hated this with a passion. Terrible night for Hook, bad night for Joe. They've aces and eights, which is shorthand for an incredibly contrived storyline where they think, yeah, it makes no sense, but we had to get to the destination somehow.
I think we've got enough cement for those plot holes, so we'll
it's
fill
a famous workaround.
Yeah. I took my licks.
And you'll suck my dicks as well, you dumb whore.
It's so stupid.
That's Bully Ray.
I took my licks. I like aces and eights, and I like TNA then. But
standards were never lower.
Yeah, I took my licks is so stupid because it's like I got physically attacked as a misdirect. Like, what if one of those attacks had basically ended his career?
I know.
It's wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
What if one shot to the back of the neck, which occurred, put him out forever?
Yeah.
Well, nice lick taking.
Yeah.
Your master plan's gone and so's your career. It's such a stupid thing to say in wrestling.
Hook, who doesn't have a good showing in that four-way, is a character. It's like, Tabs. What if Tony Khan just goes, dude, you really failed in that spot. I'm going to remove your AEW contract from you. I'm going to assign you permanently to Ring of Honor. Don't come to the AEW tape. And he's like, I'm not allowed in AEW, but I've got this whole master plan. And Tony Khan goes, what?
Shibata, like, gingerly knocking on Samoa Joe's evil villain lair door. Some really bad news in the master plan, Joe.
I promised you an insight. Maybe it's not that much of an insight, but here's what I think is an insight. Swerve Strickland has got this weird curse where 95% of the time, it works every time, where he can rock up in an Anarchy in the Arena match or a Blood and Guts match or a Texas Death match with a staple gun, and you think, this dude is invincible. Mm-hmm. This is a cool badass. This is like a genuine graphic novel protagonist. This like B-movie martial arts guy is so good at like blocking these scenes where he kicks like five guys' ass at once. He's 95% of the time this dude is John Wick, and he's so much of a badass. The other 5% of the time he ain't, but that 5% is so lame sometimes that I can never come up with this. I can never fully take Swerve Strickland seriously, and it's such a shame because he has earned that spot he's got in AEW. Yep. He has probably at this point responsible for at least 3 of the most iconic and moments in my fandom that I've loved, and yet the 5% of the time, and I always appreciate an idea and a big swing and ambition. Sometimes it looks so goddamn lame that I just get the secondhand embarrassment.
Is that what's not working about him and Paige? Because I got that the moment or two. You know me, I was massive into them two.
Sucked
when they stood together on the pay-per-view, I was like, why is that off?
Yeah.
And then this was doubling down on that, obviously. I didn't like that at all. The buddy cop thing, the different arrival. I didn't like it at all.
Maybe Joe isn't an incredible enough protagonist, because here's the thing, we just thought he was Steve Bruce. We thought he was... We did!
So, they're giving him the job!
We just thought Samoa Joe, and this is this guy who was like, well, he's super credible. We're in the B-level pay-per-view era now. The byproduct of being in this content B-level pay-per-view is that everyone needs a cane. Can we get goated Kane? Probably one of the better Kanes in Samoa Joe. Yeah, give a Kane to the end of the season. Give a Joe Samoa Kane to the end of the season. He's not only is he the big bad in AEW now, but he is such a threat to whatever.
How's the title, did you say?
That Paige and Swerve need to team up to bring him down. What? Wasn't Swerve initially written out of this bitch by Okada?
Right. He was written out by Okada. He was also the reason him and Hangman came together was because
the Ops was an alliance.
The Death Riders was the big
alliance to end the Death Riders.
Who was a part of the alliance to end the Death Riders? The Ops.
Yeah. But they could maybe, if we got some goddamn promos once in a while, which probably will next week, of like, you let us down, the Ops.
Yeah.
You were our buddies and our allies, the Ops, and now we're here to bring it down. Whatever. Here's the insight, the thing that I think no one else has talked about yet. The Swerve, it's such you are expected to receive these guys as the coolest badasses. Oh, no. The Ops are done for because these guys with their weapons and their cinematic entrances and all their history and their lore, they're coming to choke out some croppers. But until they do that, you think, oh, it's going down. The disconnect between into the arena. Go and get him. Prince Nana tell him to go and get the guitar. go and get him. Hangman Page going, let's get a little bit of courage for it. Have a drink. Yeah, I drink alcohol. I'm cool. Yeah. Hit my goddamn music, but then hit his music afterwards because we both want to look cool. You know, like the layers of
So Strickland hit everybody's music.
Yeah. The layers of like, it's very important that we look cool doing this, so we're gonna do this and then that. Yeah. No. He needs his music as well, obviously, dickhead, because we want to look cool. That's the aim of this segment. If you have got an idea so awesome that the world is heightened, it's a bit contrived, you can get away with it, i.e. the arson angle of like that visual of Page on the chair, and it's too badass, it's fine. That's one way you can get away with it. Another way you can get away with it is if you have 10,000 screaming fans in this white-hot promotion suited to this big extravagant production. All right, okay, it's lame, it's a bit contrived. You can pick apart everything to make it look like this completely planned, fake feeling, contrived broadcast, but you've got 10,000 people going gaga for it, so it must be worth it. They're doing this big, massive. It's different to WWE, but I'm using it as shorthand for produced.
No, I think
heavily produced. This WWE, we don't care how contrived or produced it is. We think it looks great, so we're doing it.
This is AEW's swing at Cody and Roman in the football field with the cars. This is their own little.
This is their own.
Yeah.
This is the big deal, guys. The big baby faces are together now, which kind of makes no sense. I think All in Texas was, for the sake of our headspace, we need to put this to bed. And you know what? I've actually got this grudging respect for you more than I do Moxley, so let's help each other out this once. Now they're buddies. Don't get that. But they do this big car, drink alcohol. We've got our weapons, separate entrances. He needs to look cool. I need to look cool. Oh, yeah, here we go. The Ops are going to get their asses kicked. How big and cool is this? It's like 1,200 people in this audience. It's like WWE Levesque era contrivance cinematic presentation just to rock up in TNA. You know what? It looked pathetic. Yeah. It looked so pretentious and wildly overambitious. You can't do this in the setting. You can't. It looked pathetic before you even begin to what it might have looked like in and of itself. It looked pathetic in the setting with that backdrop. If AEW is going to be we're the best wrestle, we're not the mainstream. It's $1 million funded and we've got a good. They need to just make it feel a bit that with where they're at on TV, make it feel a bit more like ECW than WWE, because otherwise it looks pathetic what they're trying to go for. I hated this. I don't want to resent or think Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page are uncool. They're just not cool.
I think we've enjoyed picking that apart, and the insight and the general sort of analysis of that has covered everything I would have wanted to say and think about it. Other than I'd like to add, my fundamental criticism of Samoa Joe being in the main event picture was that I refute the idea that he's a main event wrestler in 2025 flatly, right? Without exception. And as a result, it was middling Hangman Page as a world champion because Joe was his opponent. Now you've middled the entire main event picture. Like, I feel like I'm shooting on Joe, and I'm not, but wrestlers are who they are, and they're in the position they're in for a reason at different times in their career. they've middled this main event. This did not feel like top line concern stuff. And that's to your point about the cinematic presentation it's supposed to. This was the worst thing on the show because it matters the most, and it couldn't have felt less significant on the night.
It was excruciating. This was an excruciating experience.
Like if they're going Joe and Swerve at World's End, that we've got the Big Joe match at Winter is coming. No, I want the C2 to run the show because none of this is main event stuff.
There is nothing worse than something that isn't cool trying to be cool. And
yeah,
there's every single unbearable second of this segment. I don't know where to go from here, but I just think everyone involved is lame. And I do not want to feel that way. Right. Spent enough on here. Just a small matter of 3 C2 matches to go. But, like them all, really, really liked one of them. We'll start with Jon Moxley versus Mascara Dorada, Continental Classical Blue League. Joking.
You can like both leagues equally, guys.
So
Look at us, dressed in each other's leagues today. It wasn't even by design. But this is how we wore it. We're in Continental Classic colours.
Yeah, but I'm Gold League.
I know, and I'm Blue League. And yet, you can love both leagues equally and wear them too.
Indeed. So this starts out quite slowly, with the idea being naturally, logically, that Jon Moxley is like, this guy can do things I can't. I need to prevent him from doing those things, get him on the mat, Bulldog Choco, win the match, yo. Okay? But then Dorada gets into the match. But then Moxley's like, you know what, actually, dickhead, I actually can do these things. And that's sort of, I know he does a dive everywhere, but in my headcanon, he does a dive in every match. He probably should retire it. It doesn't always look as good as this. This looked good because it kind of almost went wrong. So I think in my headcanon, Moxley's like, do it all. Jon Moxley, I'm not losing. I'm only losing the matches I don't really count. I'm still great. I'm going to actually do a better dive than you, Dorada. And he kind of does because he avoids a Dorada dive, gets back in the ring, sprints, comes back out, and basically he hits the barricade sternum first, and Dorada happens to be there. He looked like it really hurt, but I like that because Moxley's got that pull-up high five shield dive.
Yes.
Which I hate when they both do it, especially Moxley, because at least Seth Rollins is meant to be a good work rate wrestler, and he isn't, but Jon Moxley's meant to be like this death jitsu brawler dude.
There's deep psychology happening here, by the way, because he's gone for that. He
does it in every match.
No, but like this specific one, the way he hits it, and then if you look for the rest of this match and the rest of this show, even with Tony Storm, he is on that cell. This is this G1 deal. Like he has already injured himself and injured a body part, making a stupid choice in a desperate act to win a match because now it's playoff season.
Yeah.
Like, and he's pulling up lame already, 1 match deep. He's got Claudio next week.
Yeah,
he's got to go away to Claudio and get something, and now he's doing it with a broken body.
He might have just overshot the dive,
and he was actually hurt. I thought he was like doing a great job of illustrating the point.
Maybe it was a bit of both, but he ate crap on that dive. So the general story of the match is Dorada, obviously, it's going to use his high flying. Moxley's going to try and thwart it. There's this sort of like seesawing battle. So just the 2 examples of that. Dorada tries to do something off the ramp, but Moxley crunch with a forearm isn't successful. Then there's this awesome spot where like Moxley's like giving it the big one on the barricade, and similar to that, reviled but would have been awesome in a different context, MJF Jay White over the ropes cutter.
Yeah,
if he just wasn't selling the knee, that's like one of the best spots of all time. It looked incredible. Come back soon, MJF. You are missed. Dorada hits a cutter and throats Mox on the barricade, getting a bit of an advantage for a while. That eventually informs a 450 for a good kick out. And basically, Jon Moxley has arrived at a storyline now and a character development where I remember in 2023 when he's like that crap IWGP champion and he's just beating losers on like Dynamite and 3-star matches, and there's no drama because that's Moxley's got his belt. I can't buy any near fall.
Yeah.
This is a total 180 in that every time Jon Moxley is in a submission hold or a big looking move that either looks like it hurts or looks spectacular is done to him, I'm like, oh, he's gonna lose. He kicks out, but it's again, he's built 5 near falls at least in every single match with where he is at right now.
I'm so chanting, you tapped out as he entered.
Yeah,
you could hear them saying it to his face and stuff. It was great. Right.
So Mox does kick out, but again, every near fall in the guts of a match is going to feel like quite palpable because of this great work that Mox is doing right now. Dorado goes for the well once too often. He tries a shooting star press, but Moxley gets the knees up. A DOS choke? Something MMA that I'm not good at knowing. Dorado passes out. The match is won. I will say that because they are so stylistically dissimilar, Moxley and Dorada, certain things look clunky. I will say Mox took a Rana in an arm drag where I'm thinking, bloody hell, he can do this. There were odd moments of clunk, but that was kind of to be expected. And again, like the quality of this match in particular was almost a bit trivial.
I really enjoyed this for the stylistic overlaps and the clunks, as you say. This, to me, would be the result of your FA Cup idea, is a match like this. Because the Premier League team was putting away the League One side with almost certainty.
Yeah.
But that moment of being rattled or having to like get down to that person's level or whatever, like they adopted a little bit of each other's style here.
Yeah.
Because Mascara didn't know he was really going to lose this match until quite late on. So he wrestled it thinking, well, this is an even fight.
Yeah.
And then when suddenly the finish was in front of him, he was like, I can do this. I can actually do this. And the confidence was his undoing. And Moxley just used that. And it's a babyface trait. And we said he's going to need to reveal those babyface traits across this tournament. I thought this was like an elegant use of what should feel random, which is tournament wrestling. It should feel more random than just like when we look at the leagues, of course you're going to look and be like, wow, I can't wait to watch that. But there should also be this. And this was one of the examples of in both leagues. I think
What?
This is one of the better ones, isn't it? Moxley and Dorado.
Yeah.
And they told that story.
Yeah.
This is a one for me at the moment in the sort of, well, this was John Moxley versus Mascara Dorado. There was no attempt to be anybody else than them two. And Moxley getting in amongst Lucha Mox for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is fun to look at, wasn't it? Well, what are you doing here? Like this.
What are you doing here?
I got a lot out of this.
Post-match, building that story that we sort of suggested might happen, not the 0-5, but Mox is kind of going to turn babyface. Toni Storm kind of plants that idea in the minds of the audience because she comes out ostensibly to challenge Marina Shafir and let them know what they have chosen as the stipulation by virtue of winning that 4-way at Full Gear. But she directs a chat towards Moxley at first. So, John, in spite of those cargo pants, I like you, in a way. But basically she says, you operate out of fear and hate, but I operate out of love. And God damn it, John, it's more violent than hate ever could be. She then says to Marina Shafir, I struggle to think of a stipulation, but it's going to be a holiday-themed death match.
Yeah.
That is the general thrust. But I like the idea of her saying to Moxley, come on, you're better than this.
Yeah.
And planting that in that idea in the minds of the fans and getting, of all people, Toni Storm to do it. Obviously, there's a reason for her to be in that ring. She's challenging Shafir. But having Toni Storm say, you can be like violent and get your precious violence out. And we all have it. We're wrestlers. We're combat athletes. But you don't have to completely ruin a company just to do that.
I loved this so much.
It was really good, I thought.
You know who has to say those words is the top babyface. And well done for a change, Tony Khan, for not ruling that by gender lines. Who is the top babyface?
Toni Storm.
Page. It's Toni Storm. So, and Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland couldn't do it logically because all they've done are the Death Riders. So they just thought, well, Toni Storm's the top babyface that can credibly say that. Yeah. It doesn't matter that she's a woman, but while I'm here, I can book this as well. So, as you say, he's created the narrative reason for her to be there. But what's far more interesting is basically our top babyface telling another potential top babyface, you can be a babyface,
Yeah.
Brilliant. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Sublime.
Really well judged.
Yeah, sublime.
He's got very defty dovetaily of late,
Yeah.
Tony Khan. Shame about his main event picture that he's absolutely ruined.
This was the point about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I used the example of 52 card pickup. I would do it with the whole roster because I'm so sick of the certain. It's not quite zones, but there was Fueds. We saw it with Full Gear rematch City Jones.
You weren't here for Dynamite review last week, were you? No, he was in it because he's a part timer, of course. But there was a surprise match, which there's already loads of matches for this 3-hour block, and surprise, it's Moxley and Claudio, I think, or whoever versus Orange. And I was like, what?
Man.
It was like some kind of Death Riders versus Conglomeration tag team.
Yeah.
Do we need this?
It's all we're doing. So this, again, Tony Storm, John Moxley being used for, like, strong enough purposes narratively, but really just seeing them together. That's brand spanking new. Brilliant. Loved it.
Don't hurt me. Sacrilege Corner. It's time for me to criticize a wrestler that everyone loves. And I'm thinking, yeah, in the ring. That was his Chris Statlander promo, bro.
Oh, I wasn't sure what you were going to do.
Oh, my God. Renee Paquette.
Forgot this.
Does one of these completely naff, utterly pointless, this person still exists, guys, backstage pre-tapes, right? I don't know what the solution is or if they need one. What was the point of this? And it just makes some of the wrestlers look like dicks. Like Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale get totally flanderized in these segments. They're quite difficult to emerge from with a degree of credit because there's so little purpose to them. Statlander is basically like moaning. She doesn't say, Christ almighty, like, what a moment in my career. Like, I cannot believe I beat Mercedes Money. She's so great, and I'm really proud of myself. And thank you, fans.
One of your catchphrases, this one, wasn't it? It was a bit of a, where is my respect?
Where is my respect? So, like, she could have said, like, thank you guys for sticking with me throughout that match. I'm pretending because I got no heat whatsoever because the AEW pay-per-views are too long. But, yeah, hoorah. But, she goes, bloody hell, like, I cannot believe what I've done. That is such an achievement. Hard work pays off. I can't believe I did that. Mercedes Money's unbelievable, techers, and I still did it. Like, yeah, I don't know who's going to challenge me next, but goddamn, I feel confident ahead of it, considering what I've just done. Whatever, that's a generic promo. I don't know why everyone says I can't do it when I'm obviously doing it. You got eyes. You're watching. Basically says, like, I've seen nothing but disbelief in people's faces, and I'm the only person that win the women's and TBS title. Where's my respect? What's your problem? What character is? And then she does this weird thing where she basically says, you got three options. You can dwell on the past. You can either be in the present, or you can look to the future. Don't know what my future is, so I don't know why I'm talking. What?
Not great.
Got three options.
Well, I'm aware of this.
Here's the option I'm picking. Not one of them. So I've actually got no options because I've got no real reason to talk.
I've run out of road, Chris.
What the hell was this?
It's my pet. I think it was the Raw review where I said it.
Who's coming with me? So I guess. Sorry, I know I just stepped on your dick. Right. I guess you're meant to think, oh, well, who is her opponent? I just thought, what's her problem?
But honestly, she fell into the trap of my current pet hate. Good news, everybody. Wrestler hunger has been solved. We live-aided that bitch. We gave them our effing money, and now they're not hungry anymore. Nobody talks about being starving anymore. Whew, thank God. Now they're all about proving haters wrong. I'm sick of it. Like, they can't all have this many haters. They can't all have, like, sort of this idea that every day they get out of bed and they're like, literally as one foot goes on the floor before the other, somebody has wronged them.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to prove myself again. Well, you just watch me. Like, all of them. That's become the new obsession. I'll show you.
Chris Starks.
That was the one. That was the one we picked up on. Everybody.
I'll show you.
Stop. Like, get out your own ass. Stop being so self-obsessed, baby-faced champions. You are at the top of your game. There should never be a time where you're more secure in your spot in kayfabe than when you are the champion of your division. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll stop you calling me crap. Well, if they're calling you crap and you're wearing the belt, that's a massive problem.
Yeah.
And, like, it's become normal. It's the latest thing in the language of the normalized language of wrestling.
That makes sense. Completely nonsensical.
Yeah.
Completely nonsensical.
Don't like it.
Don't like it at all. But I did like a lot. I liked it a lot. Bit of a reference there to a 90s comedy. It's Darby Allin. We've been talking too long. I'm pretty hungry. Low on blood sugar. Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight in the Continental Classic Gold League match. Gold League. Gold League. I told you the Gold League was good. Gold League. That's what they should be calling it.
Gold League.
Yeah.
Gold League and Poo League.
This is absolutely awesome. So Darby Allin, Kevin Knight. Now, there's absolutely incredible. Does 10 minutes qualify as a sprint? Probably not, but it had that breathless sprint, back and forth energy of, like, Kevin Knight is lower in the pecking order narratively than Darby Allin. If you had to pick which one of them had a singles title shot, it would be Darby Allin. You know where they are. You watch the product. Kevin Knight, it's a tournament, baby. He didn't wrestle like that. He saw it as an opportunity. Tournaments like embolden the smaller, lower stature wrestlers, if you like. And Kevin Knight was like, well, it's a tournament. It's not like a single league campaign. I can kind of have a shortcut to a title shot here. And God damn it, I'm going to take it. He takes this fight at Darby Allin. This is a back and forth sprint. It's nothing like the wheel isn't reinvented, but certain all-time great spots might not have ever done better or arrived at better. This match absolutely kicks ass. And there's an awesome bit early where on the back of a monkey flip, Darby is taken to such a breadth across the ring that his leg gets folded in the rope. It looks absolutely gnarly. And there's this absolutely incredible sort of like moonsault from Kevin Knight where he judges where Darby's going to be after he's sort of mid-arc. Like, I think Bailey does a spot like that as well. It's always really well done if you can make it look not contrived, and it didn't here at all. I mean, there's loads of stuff here. I'm not going to go through every single move. I'm just going to highlight some of my favorite moments. There is a lariat mid-air collision in this match where they both turn each other inside out. I don't know if I've ever seen that spot done better. It's frightening and Darby it looks incredible.
Splats. Remember AJ coming off the X and the
never
take again?
Aye.
Because of how his body shook in the moment.
I was terrified.
Darby splats off that the same way.
He looked like he just took that neck last second. I was terrified. The spot looks absolutely goddamn incredible. There's a bit as well when following a pendulum DDT, Darby Allin tries to beat the count. Kevin Knight suspects, he's going to beat it. I better just planche it out the ring with a clothesline. And he's got that incredible jumping arc, that vertical leap. That looks incredible. Tries to get him in there with a pin. But Allin gets the code red. Then, the spot's unbelievable in the way they construct it. Darby goes for a coffin drop, right? So there's a reason for him to be on the top rope. He then gets crotched. And I don't know if this is deliberate, but in my head, I'm thinking Darby Allin is just... His foot got wrecked in the ropes earlier in the match. So that Mortal Kombat upside down spot, I'm holding on to the rope spot, there's a way of doing it really badly, and there are very few ways of doing it well. Darby Allin did it incredibly well. So he's in this sort of tree of woe-like position, ready, susceptible for Kevin Knight to do a Van Terminator that looked like his sternum got crushed. It was absolutely incredible. And then after that, there's no real coming back for Darby. UFO Splash wins it for Kevin Knight. Great result. Good tone setter. Establishes the all-important G1, Continental Classic staple. Oh, by the way, why is it only for the Continental belt?
Oh, I can't be arsed with that.
It's kind of ruined the
talk. Like the angry about that because it's just bollocks, man.
It's taken
this belt nonsense.
It's taken the tournament and my investment in it from a 9 to an 8.
So stupid.
Because the idea is if Okada lost all of it, I'd think if anyone has earned, other than Kyle Fletcher, and I know it's weird to talk about Okada in 2025 and earning in the same sentence, right? I wouldn't mind seeing Okada as the very big bad of AEW. His heel work has been so incredible, but he kind of loses nothing really if he loses his tournament.
It's annoying that.
At best, it's a way of elevating somebody else. But like the whole idea of Okada's lost everything, maybe he's going to fail upwards with this brilliant work he's been doing. I think that's getting flushed, so that's a shame. But this match was absolutely awesome as a sprint. Shorter matches, the normal rule. And maybe you should confine them to TV, but do a couple of these on pay-per-view, and I'll want to watch the other matches more.
You've covered everything I could think about in terms of the minutiae of the match, so I want to add something else, and then we'll breeze past because we went long on them dickheads in the main event.
Yeah.
Inverted commas.
I've got now to say on the main event, by the way.
Oh, God, no. You were first out on the Death Rider's good, actually, bandwagon. And I kind of... Wilborn actively pushes back, hates it.
To this day.
I was kind of the guy in the middle. And I was like... And this match, of all matches, got me there with you. Hands up. John Mox tree, right? This was like... Sporting framework, tournament, right? Kevin Knight's fighting Darby Allin. Ooh, Darby Allin, you're lined up against Man City. Haaland's got injured in training.
Yeah.
We have a chance against Man City, right? Darby Allin is basically selling the
Sometimes you have a chance against Man City even if Haaland starts.
Like, I didn't even think about it. Oh, yeah, you can have that one. Why not? I'm in such a good mood with your wrestling show today that you can have your football and all, right? Darby Allin.
got pumped off... fair Marseille, so that's ruined now.
That was a good 48 hours or something, was it? Like that?
I'll get it. I'm Nick Pope. I'll get it. Don't worry about me.
John Moxley. Darby Allin beats John Moxley in spite of a fish tank. He's done it, right? And then he encounters in Blood and Guts Pac, set on fire through a table. Encounters Pac at the pay-per-view in a match that exists to serve as a direct contrast to Pac being the man that John Moxley no longer is, because that's this big story underpinning everything. Underpinning everything to the extent that when Darby Allin loses to Pac through the monstrous kicking he takes in Blood and Guts and at Full Gear, that he's going into this tournament week and Kevin Knights thinks, there's a space I can run into here and I can win this.
Yeah.
Like, things are influencing other things
Yes.
in this Death Riders breakup, this disillusionment of like all of the members looking at a John Moxley who is flawed, who can make it count in his own matches and can make it count. Like, it's him and Claudio next week. Michael Sidgwick, I'm excited about John Moxley versus Claudio Castagnoli for the first time in my goddamn life. Like,
That match is going to rule.
I don't
John
care.
Moxley's...
I don't care, mate. It's the permutations of how I don't give a
I don't mean about the nice little uppercuts.
I don't know.
Or the swings.
Not one.
I'm talking about the drama.
Yeah.
That's what wrestling is though, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be both. It's magic when it's both because you get your bit and I get mine. Like that's it. It doesn't matter bell to bell. But my God, I'm gonna be poring over that result or that one little detail in the match where it's like, he had to show that weakness.
But there's drama between the bells.
Yeah, but like tiny bits in between. It's Mox and Claudio. It's tiny bits in between the extra physicality. We're coming back after. It's the stuff that Excalibur's talking about that I don't give a toss about. But like the stuff we get to like, linger with afterwards.
Yeah.
This match to me was another sort of win in there. Sort of the John Moxley's done it.
Yeah.
Argument. This match, this result, this
such a cool.
so much
sprint.
thought.
Please, I need this urgency. I shouldn't need a tournament to have urgency and discipline and stakes in AEW. We should find a way of doing it all year round. But maybe by a certain system you could.
I can't think of one.
Anyway. I can't bury this as much as I hated it in the moment because subsequent to this little crap, apathetic Eddie Kingston signature pre-tape promo, he cuts the one he's capable of and has been capable of the entire goddamn time on Collision, which is well worth going out of your way to see. It was awesome. But on Dynamite, I hated him. On Collision, I really liked him. What's the difference? This thing that I've been talking about for weeks and months on end. Oh, let me think about it. Oh, he's in the ring live, bouncing off an audience who care about him and potentially reigniting something that was dormant or dead for about 3 months when he's standing alongside Hook for 20 seconds. Yeah?
The ring is where you cut it.
When you need to talk to your rival man, the ring is where
you cut it.
Indeed. So Eddie Kingston's like, I don't want to talk about Hook yet. It's too soon. And I can't sell it.
Yeah, people make decisions.
I heard Joe talking crap about me. That's cool. I'm not lying for a title shot right now, but, what if I take out your boy Shibata and maybe, my record looks better, and that's fine. And he starts prattling on about Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. He took out Shibata. The match is not worth your time, but the promo's good.
Yeah. Main event time. It is Orange Cassidy versus Claudio Castagnoli in the Blue League. I think everyone had the exact same tape. These two, again, they've only had 2 matches, one of which admittedly was very recently, and it feels like Orange Cassidy and Claudio Castagnoli have circled one another in the narrative for months and months and months, and they've been in various tags. And you know the dynamic by now. Claudio Castagnoli was sort of arrogantly, yet again, just a total dominion physically over Orange Cassidy, articulated in a very funny way when he kept wedging him. Like he's just like he's a human horse, as Kevin Steen once said. You might know him as Kevin Owens. He's picking him up by his waist and then crunch, gutbuster, picking him up at will with one hand. It's a grown man.
When he does that,
it's a professional wrestling sized man.
He still gets that sell and he's still going like, with the view that he's going to put his hands in his pockets, like, you're doing that to me.
Yeah. He's just picking them up, crunch, gutbuster. It's like, it's a wrestler-sized man, and Claudio Castagnoli can pick him up with one hand. Crunch, gutbuster. Frankly, that was my favorite part of the match, which otherwise was, oh, you've missed an uppercut. Here's a DDT. The general, or you get the point. Claudio wins, having established the uppercut as a finish now.
This is why the belt.
This is why
the belt doesn't matter to me, because yet more John Mox tree here.
I should mention afterwards they do like this absolutely crap.
Oh,
WWE
yeah,
needs to WWE under Vince McMahon needs to promote Money in the Bank or the Royal Rumble. Ergo, everyone comes out and there's like a kind of a brawl.
More punches, nonsense.
Utterly pathetic.
Yeah, it was rubbish,
utterly pathetic. Never do that again.
No, John Mox tree was growing here because. Did you pick up on the commentary? If I got every detail of this right, Orange Cassidy, Mr. Cool, Calm and Collected, barged into Tony Khan's office, insisted that the Claudio match was tonight because he was taking what was going to be Kyle O'Reilly's place in the C2 because John Mox has injured him. So Orange Cassidy's only in the thing because Kyle O'Reilly's injured. Moxley's the one that's taken out Kyle O'Reilly. Orange Cassidy's gone, Tony Khan, give me my match tonight. And Tony Khan's like, well, great, but you're up against Claudio. So Claudio's been told at the 11th hour, you got to wrestle tonight, mate. You got to wrestle Orange Cassidy. And why is that? It's John Mox's fault for taking out Kyle O'Reilly. Put my boots on then, I suppose. And he still goes out there and wins. Like, telling you, like...
John Moxley's written what feels to me like this leather-bound tome.
Yep. I am so invested in
What are the next pages of this?
The pack match was good. You'll like it more than me, but it was all right, on Collision. But again, he's a killer. He's doing these things like
the lariat to Bailey looked like he looked like he Bradshawed him.
Lovely chemistry, as you would imagine, but
too wrestling for you.
A touch. Pac was trying to get across that he's like the work rate great Carly or something. He was monstering him at points, and the idea is just like he's going to do that through that league because like Moxley ain't no monster no mo.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're saying. It's just we're deranged.
We can't speak like can't speak
Can't
like normal human
speak.
beings anymore.
Can't speak no mo.
Yeah. This is why we do bits.
But we do bits. Well, that was Dynamite.
I
never need to see
an up and down
post match. My God, this main event is ace. Like, sorry, but I was right about Samoa Joe all along, as was Hamflett. We are going to go downstairs. I'm going to do some like lunges. I'm going to like stretch because I'm going to take some victory laps. Okay. What I want from you guys before we depart is, how do you fix this crap? Let us know in the comments below where this main event scene is going. Do they need to fix it? Are we being too miserable? Like, what the hell is going on, guys? This plan sucks, whatever it is. You can do so. The listeners come viewers in the comments section below if you're on YouTube or on X at WhatCulture WWE. I need to eat. You can't follow him on X. He did the right thing and left it behind, but you can follow him on Cameo at
Michael Hamflett or HamflettX@gmail.com.
Hamflett X.
Yeah.
Is that from when you were 12 or something?
No, it's because I left X and I wanted an email address.
Oh,
so it's just
specifically for that?
Yeah, it's just for that.
I thought you were like...
No, it's just a replacement thing.
I thought you'd one day watched V for Vendetta and thought it said a lot about society.
Yeah, and well, it was that and like Hamflett WWF316@gmail.com might have already been taken. So by me, the first
by me in 2000. Anyway, you can follow me at Sidgwick. Coming up later today, you've got Wrestle Culture. Are you previewing Survivor Series with Will Bourne?
Yeah, Survivor Series come SmackDown because the MFTs have got that big Survivor Series match as well.
Check it out, guys. And don't forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling for daily wrestling podcasts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me, Michael Hamflett, and we will see you soon.